Good evening, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Wanted to hop on and talk to everybody about this COVID stuff. And I know everybody's involved, so really, I would expect everybody to be watching the video, but we have yet to see, so. Anyway, we're going to talk about the mask and shield issues in regards to this COVID stuff. And first thing I want everybody to comprehend is every commercial entity is under an international treaty. UNCITRAL. It's called the Contract on the International Sale of Goods. Whether it be a landlocked state, a county, municipality, a hood, a neighborhood, a Walmart, a neighborhood mart. I don't care what kind of commercial entity it is. I don't care if it's a hospital. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, see, hospitals are financial institutions in a military jurisdiction. International law, and this is where everything starts. See, your original financing statement has been unlawfully conveyed, whereas their original financing statement is a contract with an international charter. Again, it's the contract on the international sale of goods, imports and exports. And you're not subject to it because as a national you have a right of entrepot. Look that up. Entrepot. E-N-T-R-E-P-O-T. Kind of like enter. You have the free coming and going as granted by him. In the Bible, we discussed this previously, just a few days ago. And when it comes to these commercial entities demanding that you wear a mask or a shield, first of all, unless you know how to connect them at the very lowest level in their commercial jurisdiction under the UCC, which in fact says that the law is to be uniform throughout all jurisdictions. That doesn't mean the Uniform Commercial Code carries its power upward. It means the power that comes from up there must be received in commerce. In other words, all commerce is supposed to be done in good faith, with equal consideration, equal benefit, and if there be any detriment, it be shared. And all contracts must be conscionable, meaning the meeting of two minds. Now, I just discussed this in another video I did earlier. This is my third video today. And the first video I did, we discussed financial statement, original financing statement that I discussed about the military hospitals being commercial venues on an international level, that put forth a fraudulent financial statement, clarified if I get anybody out there that has a forensic financial audit by the IRS that mentions the hospital statement of life or the book of life, hospital statement of live birth, born live statement, whatever that hospital names it, I doubt it's going to come up into the show up in the forensic accounting, because if it does, it proves in on and for the record where that fraud started. And if we can prove that in one case, it wipes out every commercial transaction committed as customers who are owed full faith and credit of the debt of the United States. Period. Again, this is on the contract on the international sale of goods. And this is called a Magnus PDF. I believe you can just look up Magnus. Let's find out. PDF. Okay, it's not going to show up there. It's under, let's do UNCITRAL. There we go. If you look, if you punch into your research engine, UNCITRAL, UNCITRAL, excuse me, Magnus PDF. It should be the first link. And what it says is the remedy of avoidance of contract under CISG. The remedy of avoidance of contract under CISG, the contract on the international sale of goods. And UNCITRAL stands for United Nations Commission on International Trade Law. See, now we're no longer talking about commerce. See, we're talking about trade, and that's carried by the naval forces. Trading from one nation to another. So as a customer, you have to realize you are a different state, a different nation than the commercial state. Commercial nation. Very important. If you want to sit there and argue with these people about masks and shields, you have to be able to show them your proof that rebuts their rebuttable shit. And I'm telling you, every last bit of it is rebuttable. Now, if you don't know how to express that, you can use a face shield that is not defined. You can use a face mask that is not defined. Go to your local costume store and get a face mask that doesn't cover the nose and the mouth. It's still a face mask which fits within their realm of their definition of face mask. You can go to the beauty shop and get mask cream that women wear at night to help their skin conditions, to help keep their skin looking young. Hey guys, might help you look younger. You never know. These women might be right. Who are they to define mask or shield when they haven't defined mask or shield without ambiguity? Seems pretty pertinent to me. If they want to enforce everything, they better know what they're enforcing, right? So let's go on to the next thing. Here recently we've got lawyers that are sitting there shouting out, vaccinate or terminate. Vaccinate or terminate. And all of a sudden people are worried about losing their jobs because the company policy has changed from not having to wear a mask to having to wear a mask. First of all, I'd like to point out to you that these are commercial entities, not medical entities or legal entities. So they are first going to a legal entity who is then employing medical entities to force, without consent, vaccinations. And if you don't consent, then they're going to serve you with detriment. They're going to terminate you. Well, let me tell you what, folks. If they don't comprehend the word term or the term terminate, they could be in a lot of trouble. If I had a job and they tried to terminate me, look at that Magnus. Look at that Magnus PDF. and comprehend that the definition of terminate under the contract for the international sale of goods is different than cancel. And it has a specific requirement. If you cancel a contract, that means no detriment has been suffered and no detriment has been threatened. You just no longer consent. And you wish to cancel the contract. Terminate, however, is dependent on a breach of contract. And that's exactly what these people are doing in every sense of the word terminate. So if they threaten to terminate you, hey, read them their Miranda rights. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You are hereby noticed of termination for that threat. How dare you threaten to enforce any kind of medical condition on me or medical experiment, medical practice, whereby a medical practitioner that likes to call himself a doctor when in fact they took a Hippocratic oath that says they are a physician and says they will not place a knife upon a man without his consent. Imagine too, people, if everybody just quit their job. Now again, I know you guys can't do that. I did. Well, I didn't actually quit my job. They canceled. They terminated my contract, and I can still go for them, go at them for that if I really wanted to. But they're in their cognitive dissonance, and it really wasn't a job worth anything. But ever since then, I refused to be employed. I've refused to get a J-O-B. Read Job. Read the book of Job in the Bible, King James Version, and that'll tell you what a job is. A job is standing by God at all times, no matter whether you've earned the world in your works and then had it all taken by the devil. You still owe everything you have to him. You can't take it with you anyway, right? So why hang on to it? It's going to get passed on. So think about this stuff, people. I'm going to read a part of this Magnus thing for you. Because as I said, it's the remedy. They're giving you the remedy. This is your remedy in any contract. Why? Because you can show breach right from the beginning of their contract with you under the Social Security Administration, and that they're operating as a transfer agent, a broker of sorts, converting your U.S. dollars to Federal Reserve notes in order to pay you, and then using your bond and putting it out there as an investor without telling you that you're the principal. The remedy of avoidance of contract under the CISG. This is General Remarks and Special Cases. Ulrich Magnus from Hamburg. Under the CISG, avoidance is the one-sided right of a party to terminate the contract by its mere declaration. Such termination of contract is the hardest sword that a party to a sales contract can draw if the other party has breached the contract. Why? Because most of these sales contracts are done in the with ambiguity, like I said, and they're treating you as a U.S. citizen or a state citizen. And until you can clarify the distinct differences in how the state citizen and United States citizenship is a duality, and the separation of yourself and the use of those persons, and not being liable, all these different points that I'm trying to teach you that are actually very simple. The Uniform The law is to be uniform throughout all jurisdictions. And just because they call it the Uniform Commercial Code doesn't mean it's what applies to all the other jurisdictions. I highly suggest you guys go back and watch both my videos I did earlier today. I discussed the Hippocratic Oath and the oath that the Senate takes. These judges, magistrates, administrative law judges, family judges, or family magistrates, or family court administrators, whatever they want to call themselves, they're subject to what's known as the Senate oath. Because anything they provide in those courts, in any of those courts, has to come either through the Senate or the House. And as I explained in my video earlier, the way it works is any bill that's introduced to Congress from anybody, it gets introduced accordingly to its intent. Now, if its intent is commercial, it gets submitted from Congress to the House of Representatives because they deal with money judgments. If it goes to the Senate, it's because it's actually in accordance to criminal law or national law or international law, which doesn't have to do with money, but actual rights. Once it gets passed, so if it has to do with a law, it has to get passed in the Senate first. And then once it passes in the Senate, it goes to the House. The House has to pass it in the exact form. Once it's passed by both houses, then it can be presented to Congress for confirmation. Then it becomes a law. Schoolhouse Rock, people. Remember that one? Schoolhouse Rock. I'm only a bill on Capitol Hill. Yeah, you ought to pay attention to that. It explains it very, very clearly. A third grader can understand that. No other remedy claim for performance, price reduction, or damages. No other remedy has the same incisive effect. Why? Because you're dealing with international law, trade laws, not commercial contracts. You're dealing with U.S. dollars instead of Federal Reserve notes. You have to be able to show the duality in each jurisdiction. That's what I've been trying to show you. And you have to show how those dualities only mirror the original jurisdiction, the origin of everything. Again, go back and look at those other two videos I did. I talked about the Senate oath, the Hippocratic oath, and cash as well, in regards to value of assets and currency, coin, money, all separate from the original assets. Assets themselves have your value because they're your assets. And when they start applying their value, then it becomes a value of assets. You have to be able to clarify this stuff. So I hope you guys are going to pay attention and start doing your due diligence. Because like I said, don't believe me. Don't believe the government. Don't believe your neighbor. Don't believe Brian. Don't believe anybody. Don't even believe your own mother. My mother sat there at 50 years of age and told me, Keith, the police are your authority. And they have the lowest authority. The very minimal authority. And they are asserting the most authority. If they're asserting authority from another man, they're guilty. Guilty? Guilty. Matter of fact, I've got a local sheriff here or a local man here that's incumbent sheriff. I feel strongly he's going to win. He's an awesome man. I have full faith in him. And I've been posting on his posts. And today I made a post or made a comment on his post. And he come back with, dude, I want to meet you. So I've had some kind of effect. And I can only hope it's peaceful and positive. because y'all know my experience with previous policy enforcers. I hope to be able to affect things in a positive way without disturbing them. So no longer do I berate the individual people. I still make comments about they and them, and they and them should know who they are. They and them are the ones that know in their heart that they are doing wrong. And if anybody has a question about whether I'm talking about them, it's probably because they're still in a state of confusion and don't know that they're wrong, can't believe that they're wrong, and don't want to listen anyway. Not much I can do about it. Because as I've said many times, I've learned my lesson from my case 4 years ago. I come in peace, I am in peace, and I will leave in peace. So hopefully folks are starting to pay a little bit more attention. I don't see it much, but I still have hope. So in the meantime, remember folks, I'm going to post the links to my other forums, and I hope you share them. I hope you share the videos and the content. And of course, I always post my PayPal link along with that, so feel free to share some love by hitting that PayPal link. I certainly need it. I certainly need it. Like I said, I've not taken upon another job. So I hope the information I put out is worth it to somebody, so that you can send me a little bit of love. In the meantime, remember folks, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. So God bless. I love you all. Have a great night.